everybody, thanks for tuning in to another Canton Bourbon Boyz video. I wanted to talk a little bit about the bar and the collection here. A lot of times on Facebook, people are always asking, what do your shelves look like? What's your bar look like? And I know we do a lot of videos, and in the background it can be kind of blurred. Michael's actually going to do some stills of the bar as I talk about different sections, but a lot of people are curious of what's in the collection, what we kind of have, and how to acquire some of these bottles. So when this bar was built, it was literally no shelves were around it. I'm a avid Cleveland sports fan, so the whole bar was pretty much covered in sports memorabilia, and that kind of moved towards strictly bourbon and liquor. So let's start with talking about the back bar a little bit, which was the first piece that was built in this bar. So the back bar here, I actually built a 4-tiered system or a 3-tiered system to go in the back of the bar. And literally when we started, you can kind of look back on our Facebook page, only about 3 tiers of that was filled. And when we first started, it had some tequilas here, rums, and other things. So through time, as I got more into bourbon in the maybe late 2000s, I started to transfer all the other liquors to the other side of the basement and strictly did bourbons on this side. So with this collection here, Michael will do a still, but there's some little book, a couple bookers. I'm not too huge on bookers, so I don't really go after a lot of the releases. Sometimes when I hear a release is pretty decent, I'll try to grab it. But bookers is getting harder and harder to grab as time goes on. In the upper left-hand corner there, I've got some of the bottles from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, a handy Will LaRue, a couple George T. Staggs, and the prize bottle, which I was very excited to get before the secondary market really took off, was a Pappy Van Winkle 15-year. At the top here, Kentucky Owl, fabulous product, a little on the pricier side, but really, really good. Got some Kentucky Owls, there's a few Midwinter Nights Drams. Bardstown Bourbon Company, I really started to get into after the Discovery Series number 3. So I've got the 3, 4, 6 kind of back there. But Mike will kind of show you still some other rare bottles here. Jim Beam doesn't do the sherry cask finish anymore, and I was able to snag one of those after it got kind of announced that they're not going to do that anymore. And it was a shelf turd at one of the grocery stores, so I was able to go there and snag it. Up here in the upper right is a couple other of the rare bottles that I really like to showcase. The Old Forester 150 anniversary, an Evan Williams 23 year, one of our favorite bottles, the William Heaven Hill 13-year bottle in the bond, and then I was lucky enough to win a lottery and get the King of Kentucky in 2019. That kind of rounds out the back bar. It's kind of hard to put all the limited releases up top here to showcase in the back bar. As time kind of grew, I started to build some shelves on the back section of the bar here, and that kind of, at that time, it was overflow bottles. So if I really liked a bottle and I bought 2 or 3 of them, because you never know when it's going to be gone, I would start to put the extra overflow bottles down here. The top shelf here is pretty much strictly low budget bottles or bottom shelfers. But it started to get slammed over here. So there's a couple furniture pieces, I guess you could say, that are over here that I started to put overflow bottles in. And when it started to get really, I mean, it looks slammed back here now, but there was a point where I've had the entire bar filled and had to do something. So over to my right, I removed the pictures and built some shelves over here on the right-hand side to kind of move everything off the bar and give it more of a clean look, which as a bourbon lover, you know that's very short-lasted before you start accumulating bottles again. It starts to be overflowed. But on the right here, up top, I've got a lot of my Michter's products. So starting from Fort Nelson Reserve Barrel Strength Rye from the 10 years all the way down to the toasted barrels, and obviously the 4 regular Michter's. I got lucky enough to grab a few Shanks and a Baumburgers. Below that, I keep my Wild Turkey products. There's a lot of barrel picks there. There's 3 different Russell's picks. A lot of times we get the Russell's picks, we usually just drink them. So these are a couple overflow Russell's picks that we've had. A couple that I wasn't impressed with that they'll probably be shelf turds from now on. the Wild Turkey's 60th Anniversary Diamond, a few of the Master's Keep bottles, and my favorite Russell's bottle, as of now, it may change, but is the Russell's 2003, which I'm very excited with, and the Russell's 13. So those are my two favorite Russell's products. Below that, New Riff. A lot of people have tried New Riff products. They're readily available. For as young as they are, they're a fantastic distillery. So I've got a lot of different barrel picks from New Riff, including one of our own. And usually I try to get the limited releases every year when they come out. So we've got a couple of the Balboas, the malted 6-year, the turkey wheats, and I'm really into the New Riff. And the older they get, they'll start coming out with 8-year products. Would be great. Heaven Hill is kind of next on the right side. A few of the old Fitzgerald bottles, Parker Heritage, some Evan Williams 12-year. They're all pretty darn good. Parker Heritage didn't impress me too much, but it's still one of those that you can really only find down there, and it was a great pickup. Elijah Craig barrel strengths. There's a whole slew of those. People are crazy about the Elijah Craig barrel strengths. I'm not too crazy about them, but I snag them up. Every once in a while, one shines through. To round out the rest of the collection down there, there's some Bullet products. Old Carter, which is one of our favorites. We love the Old Carters. Every time I see one, every time you see one, snag them up. They're hard to find, and they're all great batches. The ryes, the bourbons, the whiskeys, all of them are really good. I've got an Old Forester 117, which I was really excited about. In Ohio, everyone knows this already. Buy up Weller Antique. When you buy up Weller Antique, you can trade them for things like the Old Forester 117 series, which was a few bottles, and snagged one of that. At the bottom, too, some of the Sam Houston products, and there's a few more barrel picks down there. After that got overloaded and the bar started to slam up again, I started to build some more shelves on my left here, and I put all my Buffalo Trace products on the left. I did like to display the Buffalo Trace products. We'll get to the next shelf later. We've got a barrel that we finished from one of our barrel picks of Eagle Rare, and I like to display the Buffalo Trace products over there, but there wasn't enough shelf space to really display it. So on the left, a few barrel picks of Eagle Rare, obviously 4 of the expressions of the E.H. Taylor. There's 4 barrel picks from Sazerac Rye, a whole bunch of barrel picks of Buffalo Trace, Weller Foolproof barrel pick, a Weller Antique barrel pick, the Weller 12, Weller Special Reserve. There's a few bottles of the Single Oak Project over there. Blanton's, which isn't a group favorite. We've got everything from the gold, straight for the barrel, the Japanese black, and the Special Reserve. There's a few barrel picks of Blanton's as well, none of which have been overwhelming for us. Stag Junior on the bottom there, some of the kosher products. Rock Hill Farms, Elmer T. Lee, kind of round out the Buffalo Trace for us. So fortunate enough to grab a good amount of barrel picks to try different how the different barrels really shine through when you do the individual single barrel program. To the right, we've got a piece of furniture there underneath the dartboard, and I decided to move the 1792 products down there, mainly because they were shorter and it wouldn't interfere with the dartboard too much. So we've got 1792, 12-year, small batch, full proof, bottle and bond. I love the 1792 products, and it was only recently I really tried them, because you don't see them floating around too much. So I had a few full proofs, a couple store picks. We never really cracked them. Then finally, a few months ago, we decided to crack one open. It was a great product. So we started dipping into the other ones as well, which I've been impressed with all of them so far. The Thomas S. Moore, another Barton finishing series. The 3 bottles from Thomas S. Moore are over there as well. After that got filled and it started to slam again, which always happens, I decided on my Christmas break to build more shelves in the back and move a cabinet over to display some of the bottles in the whole back, turning this whole side of the bar into basically a bourbon shelves and storage. So on the back, I've got my maker's stuff. There's a couple limited edition bottles, distillery only bottles. Obviously the wood finishing series, we've got all the expressions up there, and then we have a whole bunch of barrel picks from Maker's Mark. some which have really, really impressed, and some which have been duds. The ones that were impressive did not come from Ohio. We snagged them down in Louisville, Total Wines, Westport Whiskey. Those places have barrel picks and makers, and usually they're really, really good. They give off a lot of chocolate notes and dark fruits, which we love. Some of the Ohio picks, they're more on the spice side, and they're kind of flat on the finish. I don't know what it is with Ohio barrel picks. They just fall flat. Underneath that, I've got some Lux Row bottles, followed by some Woodford Reserve stuff. And below that is a Knob Creek lineup, which we love the Knob Creek. There's a few barrel picks down there and a lot of the limited releases for Knob. And to end it off, the cabinet has got our Limestone Branch stuff, which we've got some limited editions from 2018 all the way to 2021. There's some barrel picks in there. Below that is the Willet products, which we used to be big Willet fans. As time goes on, the Willet products get less and less intriguing to buy. And below that is Jack Daniels and Tennessee whiskeys. So some of the Jack Daniels limited releases, Eric Church, Jack 10-year, are in that section. And below that is what I'm kind of excited about is the Dusty bottles. We've got a 1982 Wild Turkey, a Michter's King Tut from the 1970s. There's some beams from the 80s down there, which he'll show you. All of which did have bourbon in them still, and we have tried all of those. The last section of the bar, which I forgot to mention, Angel's Envy. I've got a little Angel's Envy stash up top over there where the Buffalo Trace stuff kind of used to be. Below that is I've got some Joseph Magnus bottles and our barrel of Eagle Rare that we had finished. So take a look at that stuff. Tell me what you think. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.